For my explanation, I'm going to use the same data set and the same dictionary that had been created, but I'm going to explain how Bokeh can be used to further customize the plot. So instead of getting into the code first and then showing you all the output, it'll be easier for me to show you all the output so it's easier to visualize what the code does. So let's show you all what the output of this code is. So this is basically what the output of the code will be. Now as you can see that we have the x-axis as the income that was explained, the life expectancy is y, and the year data. So the only changes you can see that the colors of the countries have changed, and this is according to the regions that they have been segregated in. South Asia is blue, Europe and Central Asia is green. So that's what the colors of the plots show. And one more interesting thing, what we'll be showing is how to use Bokeh and create this. So as you can see that as the year changes or on the top right, the values and the plot is also being changed. So this is what the code is for. So let us get into the code now. So yeah, so that's the source data and how it's again creating a data source and creating a dictionary and having the same columns: income, life, country, population. The only change here is the region data because as you'll remember in the graph, we saw that the countries from different region have different colors. So that's why we need the region also in our data dictionary. Next is that we import the push notebook function from bokeh.io. So push notebook is basically used in such a way that it updates plot in the notebook itself with the new data. So as you all saw that we were showing the data from 1950 to 2014. So that's what the update function will be used for. And the push notebook would be giving us the new values from the data. So let's say we start from the year 1950 and a new data dictionary is created which will have the year as 1950, it will save it as x-axis, the life expectancy in the y-axis, the country data, the region data and the population data. All this is stored in a new data dictionary. And now our new data becomes our source.data, which was originally stored out here, which had the 2010 data. So once that is done, we also give the title of the graph as the year, that is 1950, and then these values are pushed in the notebook. So the data for 1950 will show. Now the next function starts with update till 1950 from to 1951. Now the whole process continues and it goes up till 2014. So how does the function know where to stop? So basically that comes in from here where the IP widgets and we import interact from the IP widgets function, and we are using the update function here, giving it a start value of 1950 up to 2014 and incrementing it by one. Sorry, incrementing it by one. So that's how the function knows where to stop. Next is the linear interpolator. So linear interpolator is basically here we are using it so that we get the range of the x and y axis. So let's say we kept the range manually entered 5 and 50, but what if you don't want to enter 5 and 50 and just don't want to look into the data and want to give it a range? So we use the minimum and the maximum value of the population and give it the range. Now, we are also importing the categorical color mapper from bokeh.models and Spectra 16, which I'll explain what it is once I get further into the code from bokeh.palettes. So basically, the categorical color mapper function that we imported from bokeh.models, it's used to give colors to the plots based on different attributes. So as we saw that the countries from different region had different colors. So that is what here the categorical color mapper is used for. Here we are creating a list of the unique regions in the data and storing it in factors, and also storing the values of the spectra 16. Okay, so spectra 16 is a predefined color palette on that is defined on the bokeh server, and it show has the values of the colors that were shown for the different region. And since there were six regions, we used the spectral 6 function and stored it in palette. Next is we are using the figure function again, giving the title of this year and the toolbar location as above, because we want the year to be displayed at the top, and using the dictionary plot ops. Now, since we have used circles for the data, we can change it to cross, squares, whatever you want. You can. There are so many options that are there in Bokeh to even customize the different plots that can be used. Since we've used circles, I'm continuing using circles and creating the plot. So the X out here is stored in X. This basically means the this X is from the data dictionary that was created at the top. So Y is for Y. And now this is another function that we used for, yes, this one. So the field that we are going to use is population for the size of the circles, and we are transforming it using the size mapper. As you all can recall, we had used the size mapper here to find the smallest and the largest values of the population. So that's what the transform is used for. Now for color, we are using the regions since there were six regions, and using the color mapper variable that was created here, which gives the color to each and every country in the plot according to the region. And alpha 0.6 alpha is basically used, as Jankan explained, alpha is used for the transparency of the circles, and 0. 0.6 you can change it to 0. 0.7, anything up to 1. The higher the value, the darker the circles. And the source is the data source that we created at the top, and we are giving the legend for the region. So here this is the region legend that is being used. And again, the income, the label is income, blue color, bold for the x-axis, life expectancy, blue color and bold for the y-axis. And this here is used if you want a line on the legend. Let's say if you wanted a black color line as a border for your legend, you could use it here. Since I didn't want anything here, I have created it as none, and I wanted the legend on the right. So p.right dot append of the legend is used for putting the legend on the right hand side, and the numerical ticker formatter again for the dollar prefix and the commas at the correct places. And now we finally use the show p comma notebook handle true function to create the output for the plot. So the notebook handle true is basically telling Python telling that the notebook the output should be in the notebook. So that's what the output will be for the year 2010. And now we are using the interact function from IP widgets, and using this to create the slider. So this is the output. Interesting thing is that the same thing can be used without using the interact function for using the Bokeh server, by using the Bokeh server, and that is also what we are going to show. Now, the conda install Bokeh is basically the same thing to install Bokeh, and you have to be in the directory where you want to install the function. Now, once that is done, what I did, once Bokeh was installed, what I did was copy paste the same code in a different file. Since we want to connect to the server, we have the same functions. So as you can see, the define update out here, which is the same one that is used to update the data. Now, from bokeh models, we are using importing slider since we want to create a slider. And as you can see, it's very similar to the interact function start and value. It starts from value. Let's 1950 is the value. Step is one since we want to increment it by one every time, and title is here. Slider on change will be value and update. Now let's just run this so that I can explain the end part of the code. So to run the bokeh server, what we do is we type bokeh, oops, bokeh serve. Gapminder is the name of the file that I just created. Py hyphen show. So once the command runs, we get a new window, and it, oh, as you can see, it is a bokeh application. So that means we have connected it to the server, and you can see that we have the same out here outputs. That and without using the interact function, we have created the same thing using the bokeh server. Okay, so now bokeh.layout. So layout would be column since it's moving in how columns are in a vertical fashion. So that's what the layout, the column is for p, and slider since p is the figure that we are changing. And cur add underscore root layout. That function is the same that is used to same as the where was it, push notebook. So instead of the cur doc is used to give the output in the bokeh application. So this is what our explanation for what bokeh can be used for is. Also, in other interesting applications of bokeh are found on its website. So as you can see, there are server examples, bokeh server examples. One of which I have already opened is this. Uh, let's say you can create like real time, uh, keep the axis as acceleration, display as y-axis, color as, let's say, weight, and size as the mpg. So as you can see, the graph updated. So this is also one of the examples of what bokeh can be used for, and this is a really interesting one. Look at that. That is used using bokeh. I don't know how though, but it's continuously updating, and you can see how what all is used to make this and the explanation of this. So there are many other examples out here if you want to check and learn more about bokeh. It is a very interesting and helpful visualization tools, and it is used in various industries, pharmaceuticals, even astronomical data. It's even used for stock analysis. So there are wide variety of applications of bokeh, and the best place to learn it is from the official site, which you can find on Google. They have a very good documentation. So thank you very much.